Hey guys, and welcome to game number 27 out of 100 of my Revenge of the Mack series against the AI-powered Scrabble bot BestBot. It's been quite a while since I've recorded a game against BestBot just because I took multiple week-long breaks during and right after Nationals, so good to be back. Currently sitting at 15 and 11, so it was a very good first quarter or so to the series, and hoping now that I'm back we can continue the trend going into the next quarter of this 100-game match. In any case, opening rack here, ADDLOUY, I'm going to be first. Don't think I have a bingo. Probably something like Yald here is going to be pretty good. 26 points. Cleans out the rack pretty well. Dio, not a great leave, but certainly not too bad. Yald also does not take an S, so this is nice and defensive. Yeah, I think this is going to be correct. Let's go ahead and do it. I could also, I guess it's worth mentioning, it's not correct, but I could also play oddly here. It does actually get me 2 more points, but keeping the U is pretty bad, so I'm definitely willing to sacrifice 2 and play off the U, so let's do that. And I draw 3 Ns, not exactly what I was hoping for. So we'll see what I'm able to do after the bot's first play of the game. Right now, options I see are something like Downey. It still keeps 2 Ns, but at least it gets rid of the W in one of my Ns. INN is bad, but it's not horrific. If I really want to get rid of 2 Ns, I could also play Wanyan for 18, giving up 6 points for keeping a better leave. Again, we'll see which of these options are open. So I guess Wanyan now is definitely going to be right, since that is not only open, but scores an additional 5 points by virtue of EW. There are other options. I mean, I could play Now here for 27. DINN is pretty bad. Wanyan's got to be better now that it's 23. Yeah, I would easily sack 4 points to keep DN over DINN any day. That has to be better. I just don't see any way, guys, this is not the correct play. So I'm going to go ahead and get that down pretty quickly. Still not a great draw here. A little bit short on vowels. Should have some options. I mean, right now I could play something such as Caving through this I just to at least clean out the rack. Yeah, this is actually not bad at all. It's 20 points keeping DR, which has good synergy, especially if I can pull one of the 11 remaining E's, which hopefully I'll be able to get sooner or later. Probably some options through this A. Yeah, I mean, Vang here is also very reasonable. ACDR, again, as long as I can draw one of the E's, then this is a very nice leave. So Caving or Vang, both very reasonable options here. Again, we'll see what BestBot does, see which of those are available. Okay, that could change things. So the bot opening Uger on the right. I have an R, but not a whole lot I can honestly do with it. I mean, I don't actually think I have a... I guess I could play Gnar for 28, keeping the ugly CDV. Do I really want to do that? I mean, I'm not even winning here. Like, that just feels like I'm conceding to being in a much worse position. But maybe. Grand doesn't get to the triple. Maybe I can play something up here and block. Do I have anything that... The only thing I have that goes above HO is the R. That's the problem. So I'm not going to be able to overlap. I guess I could do something like Dang. Maybe Dang for 24. CRV. It's not particularly good leave. No offense to anybody who drives a Honda CRV, of course. They're great cars, but not the best leave in Scrabble. Yeah, I think this is not great. I mean, do I really want to play Vang, though, and leave that open? I might. I mean, if the bot doesn't have a bingo there, it's not going to be easy for it to crush me. And this does bingo a decent amount of the time. Especially with all those E's and I's left that are going to go super well with this rack. It's a bit of a risk, but again, Dang, I mean, it's fine, but I just hate that leave. I think I'm probably going to take my chances and go with Vang here, but it is definitely debatable. The other thing to consider is, are there any plays I could just make like through this E that score well in block? I think the answer is no. I mean, I could play something like Varric here, but then I'm just giving it that V to play through, which is not great. Huh. Yeah, I think it's got to be between Dang and Vang here. I guess Dang is also 8 more points. The leave after Vang is probably 8 better. I guess the question I have to ask is, the thing is, I don't think BestBot would hardly... I can't imagine BestBot playing that without holding an R, right? I mean, it's possible, I guess. Yeah, I guess if it had like a whole bunch of E's, it might play that without an R instead of just playing hug. Like, it's possible. It's pretty unlikely. 5 R's left, too. The other thing is, dang doesn't actually entirely block this spot. I mean, there are a lot of words that start with GR. Yeah, I think I'm going to be aggressive here, guys, and just play Vang. This feels a little bit better. Dang, I just cannot draw any vowels here. Wow, I pull DZN. One off of credenza, although if somehow this stays open, I am now threatening Czar, and it does stay open, so I'm going to just get Czar down immediately. So my gambit does pay off here, although another tough draw. Wow, pulling the Q. Be interesting to see what BestBot had with FE. I wonder if it had the R and it was just being greedy, trying to draw something bigger. And the bot does bingo now. It didn't have an R. Look at that. Wow. Clearly didn't have an R. Maybe had the blank with huge. That's interesting. It's a pretty bold play to play huge without an R. But I'm guessing, given its last racks, like I said before, guys, it probably had at least one more, if not two more E's or something, and just felt compelled to get rid of the E. The other thing is, in most cases, that huger spot is not that dangerous unless your opponent bingos. Czar was sort of a rare exception where I managed to score very well without bingoing. But in most cases, you're not scoring too well without a bingo. Now, speaking of not scoring too well, I'm not going to be scoring too well here myself, which is very unfortunate given I'm now down 50 points. I have like nowhere to even get rid of this Q. I mean, I'm not going to play QI for 11. At that point, I should just exchange and clear out this rack, which I might unfortunately end up having to do. Is there a way I can like, if something like this is a word, like if something like or this would be amazing if this were a word to try to set up the Q. No die is a word, but of course Hoenn is not, so that's not going to work. But if I have some sort of idea like that, that could be cool. I mean, here's a fun play. This is amusing. Setting up QI. I mean, it's kind of crazy looking. Is this insane? I wonder, against a human, it's probably insane because it's obvious what you're doing. Against BestBot, I wonder if it's going to be obvious what I'm doing because, like, BestBot doesn't really use inferences. So I don't think I would make this play against a human just because it's blatantly obvious what I'm doing, but there's a chance I feel like BestBot might leave that open. I'm kind of inclined to try it, guys, just for the content, if nothing else. Like, exchanging is so lame here. I mean, what am I going to keep? Like, DIN? Go down 50 in a tempo? Like, ugh. I probably exchange here against the human just because of my lack of options. I think I'm down too much. It's too slow to play something like did on the right and just hope for a U. Like, I need to get a bingo down pretty quickly or a big Q play. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try this and see what happens. It might backfire, but it's a fun idea nonetheless. So let's see if it works. All right, well, I got a U. Oh, do I have like a... Hold on here. I don't think I can quite get to the double. Almost like Quipu. That would be like 100 if I could get there. Wow, that's wild. Now, the good news is even if that does get blocked, I have Quiz over here for 44, keeping a nice sleeve of DEOP. Yeah, again, guys, I don't believe that is the correct play against a human, but I think against BestBot, since it doesn't infer, that it has a chance. All right, it does get blocked, which I guess is not shocking. So I kind of got bailed out here by my U draw. Yeah, if I hadn't drawn a U, this would have still been pretty bad. That point was probably not a smart play, but I kind of couldn't help it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Quiz just has to be the correct play, right? Like, is there anything else to even consider here? I can't imagine. Equip somewhere, peaked. No, I'm not going to play Equip from this E. Quiz is the right play. Okay, 44 points. Need some good tiles here, and we don't get them. Okay. Draw BTT out of the bag. Yeah, that is definitely not what I needed here. The BP combo is notoriously toxic, and BestBot gets down another blank bingo. That is probably going to more or less do it for this one, guys. Yeah, 4S is still out, so I'm probably going to have to hope to draw several of those and just hope that BestBot misses them. This board is also terrible right now. It's one of those boards where it actually looks pretty wide open, like the words are fairly spread out, but they kind of get in each other's way, like, especially with Yald, like I said, not taking an S. I mean, Foam takes an S, obviously, but I need an S to hit that spot. Without an S, there's very few places to bingo. It's not easy to start a word with an E, play through this L. There's another E to play through, a third E, and then an M. Like, it's actually a pretty bad board. So my situation is, I think, even more grim than it might initially appear. Obviously, you're down 106, you have a crappy rack. Like, it's going to look grim, but the state of this board is certainly not helping that either. I mean, I guess I just don't see something like Opt working. Like, it's 30 points, which is nice. But, like, I'm keeping BTT, and again, I'm not going to count on BestBot opening for me. This actually blocks a lot, too. It blocks the E, blocks this L, blocks this M. Like this is terrible for the board, terrible for my rack. I think I got to take some chances here, guys. I think I got to do something like this and just hope to draw an S and that BestBot doesn't have it. Or at least, like, keep some life in the bottom part of the board. Like, if I just block the bottom left, I'm basically doing BestBot's job for it. I think one thing I always like to tell my students is think about, like, place yourself in your opponent's shoes. Like, if you're your opponent, what play would you be happier to see? And I think your opponent is going to be pretty happy to see Opes regardless. Because, like, yeah, it's 30 points, but they're up over 100, and it blocks a ton of the board. Like, if I'm BestBot, I'm going to be happy to see Oped. If debt comes down and I don't have an S, then I'm going to be pretty stressed. Like, this is the kind of play you need to make when you're down like this, on this kind of board. I think this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I don't draw an S, but I have Entropot, so okay. But again, guys, see, that is why I have to play on the right, because I didn't get an S, but I got lucky here and hit Entropot, and you have to hope to get lucky if you want to win these kind of games when you're down. And I'm still going to need to get lucky after this, because I'm still going to be down 30. I really need an S here. There are 4 left, and I have a nightmare draw. Brutal. Wow. 6 vowels and no S. That is one of the worst possible draws I could have gotten from that pool. Good grief. Well, that's going to really put a damper on any hopes I had of coming back. I do have a kind of a cool little underlap here, actually, of Aloe for 19, still keeping OOE. And BestBot plays Toner for 19. Okay. I mean, I think Aloe is right. The pool is at least constant heavy. The pool is actually, like, terrible. Although, having an E is really good here. I have the last E's. If I could play Olio, that would be a little better. Do I maybe play Olio instead here to keep AEO? Possibly. Thinking a little bit about space, too. I probably still have to bingo to win this game. Yeah, I'm down close to 50. Only scoring 16 here. There are good scoring tiles left, but there aren't any great spots. I think I got to play for a bingo here, guys. And this blocks an amazing lane that the bot just created above Toner, right? Like, if I don't go there, this is a great line for me to bingo. And Aloe, while it does block the R, creates another good line too with Eddas, which again, there's 4 S's left. If I can draw one of those, I'm often bingoing there. It's also not that easy for BestBot to block both. I mean, I guess I could play something with Toners, but then it gives me 8s at least. If I could leave that R open, that would be preferable. Let me see what else. I mean, I don't think I want to play Olio here for 5, because the problem is if I score 5, I also run the risk of BestBot just outscoring me and you know, accumulating a lead that's large enough that even if I do eventually bingo, it's not going to be sufficient. So yeah, tough turn. I have 9 minutes. The game is getting late, so it's worth spending some of this time I have on this play. It feels like a key decision that I need to get right to have any chance here. And I just don't think Olio is going to cut it, like I said, even though it's probably the best positionally to keep that R open. That R is a really important line. Yeah, I just think the problem with Olio, guys, is now the bot, like, blocks this R or just plays a 5 if it can above the O here, and I'm just kind of dead. Like, where am I bingoing? So I just don't think positionally, as nice as this is for my rack, that really gives me much hope, which is too bad. And I hate, again, blocking this valuable R line with Aloe, but I do at least pretty much ensure that a decent bingo line will remain open regardless of what the bot does next. It is still looking pretty bleak. Anything through this M with, like, MO here? Not really. OL, Oleate doesn't quite fit down the E column. And again, I think my place with the L of Impel just score too little. Like, I'm down 50. I have to score something here or else I just get outrun. the lead was just too weak. I'm almost never bingoing with that. I mean, I guess I could draw into like Roseolas. Is that crazy to do that? I mean, I guess yeah, I could. The odds of me drawing two S's are pretty small. I think I play Aloe. I need the extra couple points, and it gives me a few more chances to draw an S, which is going to be absolutely key. Also, I think this is better. I'm going to go ahead and play Aloe. All right, I do draw a pair of S's. The bot immediately going with Blight, but yeah, see, this is why, guys, I have to score. Now I'm down 60. Although both of my bingo lines are still open. I have to find some way to get rid of this J. That's the issue. And I mean, something like Joy just kills that line. I guess it doesn't entirely kill it. If I draw like the C or the D, I could still bingo above this. I might just have to do it. Like, unless, is it crazy to keep the J here and try to draw a bingo with the J? Probably. Yeah, I think that's a little crazy. J is just going to get so much in the way of any bingo chances I have. I don't think I can afford to do that. I mean, yeah, and something like Joey's here is kind of the same thing. I mean, unless I think there's a universe in which I win this game without a bingo after Joey's, like especially if I pull the X for this spot. I mean, maybe. That's really the big question here, guys, is can I possibly win after Joey's without a bingo? Because if the bot wants to stop me from bingoing, it can. It can just play like through this E or this O and block everything. It leaves two in the bag, which is good timing. Yeah, I mean, if I draw the X, like, is it possible? Maybe? I think it's conceivable. It's pretty hard to imagine, though. And if the bot played Blight that quickly, I doubt it had a horrible rack with, like, 3 eyes. Yeah, it's probably conceivable I can win some positions after this. I think it's more likely, though, that I draw like a bingo or something after this. Because, especially if somehow the bot doesn't have an S, which is unlikely, but possible, it's going to be kind of annoying for it to block Eddas. Yeah, I mean, I guess if it has an S, the problem is I can just play with Joys, and it's going to at least have to give me some chance to bingo out. Like, I feel like that's a better chance than playing Joey's and hoping to win that way. Like, being down 20 and a tempo still is rough. Like, I'm not sure, and this is something, again, it's almost impossible to calculate for sure. But my instinct tells me I'm better off just playing Joy here and trying to bingo, rather than trying to outscore. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. And I get another S. Not really what I wanted, I'll be honest. So it plays XIS. Okay, well now I assume I gotta try to fish here. Although the problem is then, are my bingos even going to be enough? Yeah, that's... Because I'm thinking like I do this and then try to draw like Dassies with a D. D-A-S-S-I-E-S, which plays now in multiple spots. But now I think the problem is the bot just plays like Hack on top. And that scores too much, right? So is there any way... Like, what if I do this then? What if I do this and then draw an R for Caesars, S-E-I-S-O-R-S, because now it doesn't have any hooks for Axe. I might have to do this. It might just be a 1 and 8. Okay, I have 4 minutes. I'm going to basically be using all of it here, because I want to at least... It's going to be a slim chance, but I want to see if I can even possibly win. This might win with an R draw? Maybe. I think anything else, it just hits with racks, right? I mean, I also don't have a lot of other bingos with this rack. So let's just assume I draw an R. Like, when in these positions, guys, you have to just assume the best thing is going to happen. So if I draw an R, let's see, I'm down 52 after this play. Yeah, it might just outrun me with Dak here. No, it can't, because Caesar still fits with OD and Ski. Oh, wow, okay, hold on. So how does it block Caesars? Or does it just outrun it elsewhere? I mean, if it's only up 52, Caesars up here would be 84? There's no chance it's outrunning that and leaving it open, right? No, I mean, there's just nothing here. So it would have to block. And yeah, Dak is not a block. So it would have AACDHIK. I don't believe there... Oh, there's H-A-K, though. Oh, that's a problem. D-H-A-K. Shoot. Yeah, that's going to block. And Caesars and Eddas is not going to nearly be enough. Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, so this is not going to work. Huh. Okay. Maybe. Do I... The problem is there any way that I can fish just not opening anything and then draw unblockable bingos? I think the problem is I can just play to this Y and block both, right? Like, if I just fish off an O somewhere else, I don't think that's going to work. I mean, fishing off an O feels like by far the most natural thing. Fishing off an E, that can't work because of Hex and Kex. It's guaranteed a hook. And then, yeah, this, like, I just never outrun its place here. So this might just be lost, guys. Yeah, I mean, I can only play one tile. Can I hit this M? I think I just have too many S's. Yeah, no, I can't. Interesting. How about this, trying for Caesars up here? Does that work with an R draw, maybe? How about this? Because now, the problem is that enough? It's close. This might be my best shot. Yeah, because now if I draw the R, so all right, I'm down 57. It basically cannot block Caesars on top now. I mean, if it plays like, yeah, it like literally almost can't block, which is kind of crazy. So, all right, down 57. I'm going to be getting 74. It needs to net 17, which it might not be able to do, actually. Yeah, I mean, if it plays like, yeah, D-A... Dacha? D-A-C-H-A, maybe? 4, 7, 22, 31. Does that win by 2? If it plays Dacha? 22, 20, 31. I have no time. Yeah, I think this loses by 2 to Dacha, but I've got nothing else to try. Okay, GG. Yeah, I mean, I think I couldn't win there, because, yeah, that I'm down 57. Dacha is... Wait a minute. 4, 7, 22, 31. So I have been down 88. I get 74. And then 12. Yeah, I would have lost by 2 to Dacha at the minimum. Okay. So AI never wins. Maybe nothing ever wins. I don't know. Well, I'll definitely Macondo this after, but I feel like nothing ever wins. I feel like I have to open another line, or else I can just play like Keiki or something to the Y in almost every situation. And the only way to really open a line with playing one tile is at the top of the board. And I looked at pretty much every possible move there, and nothing seems to really work. So I feel like there was no win. Like I said, I will put that in after the game ends. BestBot's probably going to use its remaining time. By the way, it's worth mentioning, I should have said this in my last turn, Oasises is not good. The plural of Oasis is just Oases. There may have been some viewers wondering about that. I just realized why I wasn't just playing Oasises on my last turn. The reason is because Oasises is not a word. But in any case, we'll wait and see what BestBot does. I'll blitz out this endgame. Probably going to play it inaccurately since I don't have enough time, but that's all right. And yeah, we'll go from there. All right, BestBot playing Chirk, so I guess I'll just play Oasis here or something like that. Yeah, this looks good enough to me, and the bot's gonna... Oh, I guess I should have played Asia or something. That's okay. 351, 446. Interesting game. I'm pretty happy with how I felt like I was still kind of in it towards the end after hitting Intrapot, despite dealing with some tough draws and a few setbacks. Let's... I'm going to run the pre-game game through Macondo and let it run while analyzing the rest of the game, and then we will come back to that at the end of the video to determine whether I did indeed have any potential wins when I played AI. Alright, so going back to the beginning of the game, guys, yeah, Yald looks good. Like I said, Oddly is an option. It scores 2 more points, but Dio is a much better lead than AU, so easily worth giving up the points. Bot choosing Wavy over the stylish Yeehaw for 30 points, but yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm a little surprised to see Yeehaw rank higher in equity, given the V is so much worse than the H, but I guess the 2 E's are pretty clunky with the H. H tends to go better with consonants as opposed to excess vowels, so yeah, I still like getting rid of the V. I think Wavy is totally fine. Oh, I didn't actually. There are a few other plays I didn't consider here. I'll be honest. Yeah, in Dow, but I don't really think I really want to put an I there. It is 10 more points. I only looked at now in that spot. I didn't even really think about playing longer. Yeah, it is 10 more points, but keeps the two ends and open that I. I'm fine with not playing that. Inwound might be a little bit better than Wanyan, though. Hard to say. Inwound is definitely a lot more defensive. It's very, very defensive. So that is probably good this early in the game. I mean, it's not like it's terrible to open the board. It's an even game. I have a decent rack, but like generally speaking, your opponent's always on turn next. They have the slight edge in terms of hitting the first bingo. I think it makes more sense here to be a little bit more cautious and play inwound. Unfortunately, I just didn't generate it as an option on either the previous turn while I was thinking or on this turn. So a little bit of an oversight here. Again, Wanyan, not a terrible play, but inwound I think would have been a little bit better. And yeah, the bot going with huge here. Wow, that is not a play I would have made with 6 R's left. I don't think. I think I would have gone with Inhume here. Like, yeah, it does keep the G, but it scores 3 more. It doesn't open such a big hook you don't have. This is a pretty surprisingly aggressive play by BestBot. And I think it just goes to show you guys, like, sometimes it's easy to overestimate the danger of opening a hook in the triple line. Because, like, two things, right? One, if your opponent doesn't have it, even if you don't have it, then they might assume you have it and sacrifice points to block, which is sort of a win for you if they block something that they unknowingly don't need to block. And the other thing is, even if they have an R, right, like I said on my turn, it's not like they're automatically going to crush you for 100 points. Like, they might play for 30 or 40 there a lot of the time. They're very rarely, going to be bingoing. So I just don't think this is as big an opening as it might seem at first. I still probably would go with Inhume here, but, this is not as crazy as it might look. Okay, so yeah, Cavern here. I don't think I generated that as an option. It might be slightly better. DG is a pretty rough leave, and it does open this C in the triple line. I think Vang is not unreasonable. I mean, especially if I do think, as it turns out, I was correct, that there's a chance the bot doesn't have an R, then I think Vang makes a decent amount of sense, keeping a nice leave for myself that's often going to hit that spot for a high score or even a bingo. If I really think the bot has an R, then Cavern might make more sense. Although, again, even if it has an R, it doesn't mean it's about to bingo there and crush me, right? A lot of the time, it's just going to play something shorter. So I don't think leaving it open is crazy. Yeah, I just wasn't a fan of Nar or Dang over here. The leaves are just too clunky. I think Vang definitely keeps the best leave. It is a bit of a point sacrifice, and it does leave that hook completely open. Holding the hook myself, I was more comfortable doing it. Debatable decision. Might have gone with Cavern if I had seen that, but I don't think this is crazy. And it worked out okay. Because, yeah, the bot still doesn't have an R and decides to play FE, because EILMP is an excellent leave, really good synergy. Czar best by a mile here. Bot plays Impelled. And then, yeah, here I kind of went off the rails and played Point for 9, setting up my Q. An alert human is going to, like I said, realize immediately what I'm up to, since I could have just played Dingo for 4 more with the same letters, for instance. Like, this play really makes no sense other than to set up a Q or next. BestBot I thought might not be capable of realizing that, which is why I kind of tried to exploit it here a little bit. Against the human, I think exchanging is the play here. I mean, plays like they're just too slow. Like, you're down 50. You got to get a bingo down before your opponent locks down the board. Like, I just don't think you can afford to score 15 and then hope to play QI for 20 something on your next turn. Like, you're just sending yourself back too far. I think you got to exchange here if you don't do the crazy thing I just did, which again I think against the human is clearly worse than exchanging. Against BestBot, maybe it has some chances of working out, which it sort of did. The bot did block, but I did manage to land a U, fortunately for me, and bail myself out of this with Quiz, which is clearly the right play. Bot gets down Intrigue, makes much more sense than Gustier. This scores the same, needlessly opening the bottom triple. And yeah, this turn really didn't look too good for me. I didn't generate Opt here. Yeah, I didn't do a great job, honestly, at generating options this game. Didn't see In Wound, didn't see Cavern earlier, and didn't see Opt here. Is Opt correct? I don't think so. Again, at this score, I'm doing nothing to help myself. I'm only hurting myself here. I'm blocking this valuable E-line, which, as we saw, I did end up hitting on my next turn. I'm sort of doing BestBot's job for it. I think with all those S's left, I have to be proactive, keep this board as open as possible if I want any chance at making this improbable comeback. So I think that was a good play. And the bot has retracked. Wow, and it cannot play it. Luckily for me, it does not have an S. Tear makes a ton of sense to take out that spot with 4 S's left. Honorable mention to Trifecta through 3 disconnected tiles. It's a pretty cool play, but Tear, I think, is clearly right. Entropod, only bingo. Toner, that is a very bizarre looking play. getting rid of like your best bingo tiles and your E, keeping CL over. Yeah, why not? Wait, what? Why not Enol for 8 more and to be more defensive? What? Why? And this also gives this gives back bingos with toners, and there's 4 S's left. I mean, you're in. I wouldn't say you're guaranteed to win if I don't bingo if you're best bet, but like you're pretty likely to win, and you're clearly up here. Isn't it in your best interest to not give back bingo lines? Enol also scores 8 more points. It's not like keeping CRT is way worse than keeping CL. In fact, it might be just as good, if not better, given the pool is Val heavy. Like, this is so nice defensively. I mean, I guess you do still have Entropots to deal with, sure. I mean, is that what it's worried about? Maybe that's what it's worried about. That Entropots is now, like, almost entirely unblockable? Is that what it's worried about? Because now, if the bot doesn't have an S, with LO not taking hooks, like, this Entropots line is virtually unblockable. Maybe that's what it's worried about. I mean, you can still, like, play something under Edda if it draws one of the 4 A's, like a 4 here and block. Like, there's pretty good probability the bot is going to draw an S. Like, I don't know, but I don't think that's a good enough reason to, personally, to justify playing Toner now giving back a super easy 7s lineup here and giving up 8 points, which is a bit. Yeah, I don't know, guys. This play doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If someone in the comments can explain it, by all means, go ahead. I would love to have a better idea of why the bot made this play. The only explanation I can think of is creating this Entropots line in a fairly unblockable way. But like I said, to me, that doesn't feel like a good enough justification to play. But in any case, I guess BestBot disagreed or had some other logic for Toner. We may never know for sure, but okay. Yeah, tough call here for me. Again, I just think Olio doesn't work. It doesn't leave me enough space. I think Aloe has to be better. Olio here has the same problem. I can't afford to exchange. I'm down too much. As we saw, the bot scored pretty well here. Wow, Belpert. That is a cool play. Not correct, but cool play. I mean, it's not terrible, though, honestly. Like, it does. I guess this pool is just so bad from the bot's point of view. Like, there are 4 S's, but there's J, K, X, and there's just no good bingo tiles. There's no N, R, T, or L. So that makes it really hard to bingo. So I guess it just figures I'm so unlikely to bingo that I can just play Blight. And yeah, this was another important moment, guys. I still don't think Joey's is correct. I am getting within 20, but I'm still down a tempo. And again, I don't think the bot, and I was correct, would play Blight with a horrible rack. Like, I just don't see winning. The bot's going to play through this O or this E, take away my X bomb if I draw it. And then I just don't see Ox under here, still keeping 5 tiles being enough in almost any case. I felt like here, especially if I can pull the R and, one of the D or the C, I might have some outside chances here. So I like this play. Bot playing XIS. This is a very interesting looking play. Huh. Yeah, I feel like that's not what I would have done. I mean, there are possible bingos, right? Like Askasis, ASKESIS. I think Shaco's is good, SHAKOES. There's also stuff like Hissies and Scotches. So, yeah, like I would probably... I mean, why not this? Right? Yeah, like, why not play here? I don't really understand. I'm not going to bingo through an X. I mean, I guess, is there still something that plays above here, maybe? I don't know, but... Yeah, like, why not? If you're that worried about it, then just play this, right? I mean, you're never going to lose in the endgame here. Like, come on, you're going up 70. Like, just play this. Empty the... I would even empty, because, like, then you don't have to even at all think about me potentially fishing. Yeah, like, why not just play Axis? What am I missing? I mean, maybe the bot... Is it possible, I guess, if the bot's play never loses in an endgame when I bingo? But, like, you're telling me there's no situation in which I hit Hissies and then draw, like, a K and have a good outplay and it loses? Like, I feel like this can't be 100%, right? Maybe it is. If it is, I don't think so. I mean, but I'm not sure, I guess. Yeah, if this somehow wins 100% of the time, regardless of what I bingo with and what I draw, then that's just beyond human capability to calculate. And then I guess more power to BestBot. But, like, to me, the much more human play is Axis. Because, like, it's not that hard to see as a human that I'm not bingoing through this X. and there's just nowhere else for me to bingo. And it's also pretty easy to see that I'm not going to make up 70 points in an endgame. Even if I hit the K for 40, so what? Like, it's not enough. So, yeah, I would just play Axis here. Weird play by BestBot. And now I want to check Macondo and see if there is any chance I could have won here. I think the answer is no, but let's see. Yep, Macondo does indeed confirm there are no possible paths to victory for me in this position. No huge surprise, like I said. I think this was a reasonable effort trying to draw the R, but Dacha at the minimum wins by 2, and there might be even something better for BestBot after this. So I was pretty much dead at that point. I play Oasis here, and the bot gets down DA. So I end up losing by 95, 351 to 446. Yeah, I feel like late in this game, I think I actually made a lot of good choices. I think Joy was probably smart. I think Det was also smart. Very questionable play early on in the game, though. I don't think Wanyan was correct. I should have seen Inwound. And yeah, I mean, certainly my play of Point is probably just wrong. Vang is interesting, but maybe not correct either. I mean, Point could be correct against BestBot. I think it's just too likely to get blocked regardless, honestly. So, interesting idea, but yeah, I think a couple of maybe not so great decisions early on might have not set me up for as much success as I could have had this game. But overall, I didn't play too badly. Bot did get both blanks, so it was going to be an uphill battle. But in any case, interesting game, some cool positions. Thanks so much for watching, as always, guys. Good to be back to these, and I will see you all on Wednesday for the next game of this series. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.